This video is made possible by Practical Defense Systems, the best online security training at the lowest prices. You can start your security career today online at pdsclasses.com. Check them out. Hi, I'm Joel Persinger. I'm the Gun Guy. Thank you very much for all of your support on GunGuyTV. I'm super grateful for everything that you do. Forgive the noise in the background. We're having some work done here, and we've got, you're going to hear machinery in the background and guys and all that kind of stuff, and that is why I am not currently in the shop doing this video. I'm doing it here on the covered porch on the side of our house, actually in the back part of our house, but there you go. And so, you know, you'll see my, I've got all kinds of stuff stacked up to show you that's on my grill. And then we've also got the target back here, which is a steel target I got to fix. We knocked one of these off, so I got to weld it back on. And you know, my workout gear, and you're going to ask, why do you have this big green cage around your workout gear? It's to keep Charlie the dog from chewing up the seats on my bench and all those other things. So I built that wooden thing to go around it and keep him from chewing it up. All right, now that you have that behind the scenes information, here's what I wanted to talk to you about. First and foremost, before I get started talking about RTS Tactical, which is a great company that sent me some stuff to review and some armor to shoot, which we're going to show you here in just a second. I want to remind you to please do subscribe to one of these alternative places, because YouTube is sketchy. You never know, we could go away. If you are watching on YouTube, that's fine, but if you're also subscribing to one of these alternative places, then big tech can't keep us from letting you know what happened to us if YouTube makes us go away. Likewise, every once in a while, YouTube will delete a video or ban a video. You will always find them on these places, at least some of them, like BitChute, the gunstreamer.com, and the Utah Gun Exchange, certainly on GunGuy.tv. We will make sure that those are always available to you. Likewise, check out the GunGuyTV Firearms audio podcast. It comes out on the 5th and the 20th. As I've said many times, I don't make my living with GunGuyTV or with the podcast, so sometimes work and time and space and place gets in there and I'm a day late or something on the podcast. I apologize. But I do try to get them out reliably as best I can. All right, where was I? I was talking about RTS Tactical. They sent me a bunch of stuff, and I probably should do the little disclaimer here that I'm not a veteran. I wasn't a SWAT guy or whatever, so my experience with armor is really limited to concealable armor. I never wore plate carriers like this because with what I did as a bail bondsman, I wasn't dressed up in tactical gear to go get somebody and put them back in jail. We would go out there and knock on the door in civvies, and so I tried to wear armor that was concealable. There were times when I wore armor that also had front and back rifle plates. It just depended on who we were going to go after and what the level of threat we thought might be. And so it just depended on what it was. So I've worn a lot of rifle plates, but mostly I wore concealable armor, and even with the plates tried to throw something over the top of it so I didn't stick out like a sore thumb. Now obviously if I were a veteran, I'd have some experience with these kinds of plate carriers, but I don't. So if I say something stupid, just let me know in the comments that I said something stupid, okay? Because you know, I get to learn too, sometimes just by showing you stuff. All right, these are the plate carriers I got. They sent me, they're identical. One is camo and the other is not. But basically, other than that, they appear to be exactly the same carrier. All the MOLLE attachments all over the place. And what I did like about them is the fact that they just seem to be made really, really well. Now, I've seen a lot of these at SHOT Show, and I've got friends who are police officers and friends who are veterans who have worn a lot of them. So I know to look for certain things. The padding is kind of important when you're carrying plates around. I do know that from carrying plates around. And the fact that this stuff gets hot and sweaty and everything else, so I like the fact that all through it, so I'll have to pull it up and show you, the mesh is there to let you breathe a little bit. So I do like that. I've seen those where it wasn't mesh, it was only meshed on one side, not the other, and then you start to drip and sweat like crazy. So you're gonna sweat anyway, carrying armor around, depending on the temperature and what the weather's like, but at least it's more comfortable, makes it a little bit more comfortable for you. Obviously, adjustments are normal. You know, you got to peel up the things, and you got your adjustment down here for things. You got MOLLE places to attach things. It's basically, it's a, you know, it's not a surprise, the various things that are on it. And, you know, you've got adjustments again, front and back. Same thing, it just Velcros off. You've also got some Velcro adjustments on the front. The other vest is exactly the same. The difference being that this one doesn't have the camo. But other than that, It's the same, and then they make, if you go on their website, again, it's RTS Tactical. There's their little logo right there. They also make lots of things to attach. So you got some mag holders here, pouches, and different kind of pouches you can attach. They're all MOLLE capable, so it makes it really interesting and fun to attach. Now, personally, I don't have a use for this stuff, and the reason I don't is because my history with armor has always been, as I said, with a concealable armor. And I also live in California, so if I were to wear armor for some reason, I wouldn't wear it for work anymore because I don't do that anymore. But at the same time, even if I wore it because of civil unrest, I probably would prefer to be the gray man. For a few reasons. One, I don't want to seem like a combatant to the rioters or looters or whatever. And at the same time, I don't want to appear to be a combatant to law enforcement because I live in California. And California can be very restrictive. I have a concealed carry permit, so I would rather be the guy who's the gray man, carrying a handgun, and just trying to get from here to there, but not looking like I was going to be a threat to anyone. My family and I are probably safer that way. Now, if we're at our property in Arizona, we have 40 acres. That's a whole different animal. If you're on my property, I'm fine wearing that. I'm fine carrying a rifle, and you can get over it. You got no business on my property unless I want you there. So it is situational and locational. A lot of things come into your choice of whether you want to wear concealable armor or armor that makes you very overtly armed and overtly armored. And so it's not a right or wrong, good or bad, best or worst. It really is geographical, situational, and a lot of personal preference, quite frankly, what you're used to and so on. Now, they did send me a plate to review, which they sent me one of these. It's a level 4 ceramic plate. I was very impressed with it, and I'll tell you why here in a second. They sent me two, one so I could hold it up like this and go, see? And the other one that we could shoot full of holes, which we did. We shot at this thing until it failed. In fact, I can show you the one that we shot full of holes. Here it is right here. And it did fail. It just blew it apart. There it is. So it just came apart completely. Now, it took 4 rounds, and then on the 5th round, it failed. So, you know, I was pretty impressed with that. The other thing I did like about it is it took the penetrators, the green tips, and it stopped them without any problem at all. So that's fairly important. Now, it's level 4, so it's really designed to stop one 30-06 AP round, armor-piercing round. I mean, hopefully if it hit in a different place, it would stop more than one, but it's rated to stop one. And certainly the penetrators, the green tips, are not armor-piercing, they're penetrators. But still, I've seen AR-500 steel armor that penetrators go right through. I've seen, you know, other types of composite-type plates that penetrators go right through. So the fact that this stopped it, which it's rated to do. It's rated to stop the 30-06 armor piercing, so it should stop the penetrators without any problem. It did. Now, there's a lot of deformation on the back, obviously, so that's going to thump you really hard, and it's going to be a serious injury. You're probably not going to die, but you're going to need to get to a hospital. You're going to be definitely probably out of, I mean, I would say definitely out of the fight. And these were from 30-06 hits, so you can see where that 06 hit pretty hard right here and deformed the plate. And that was a 180 grain round that hit from the 30-06. And I also hit it with 168 308s, 168 grain 308s. So it got clobbered pretty good. It finally did fail, and when it did, that's fine. We were super impressed with it. All in all, it did exactly what it was designed to do, and it stopped, and actually did better than I thought it was going to. One of the things that was impressive to me is typically with these, it's my understanding that with armor, I gotta hold it up this way, the armored portion is really not around the edge. Edge hits are no bueno. That's my understanding. You want it to be kind of in here. You don't want to have your hits on the edge because the edge is sketchy depending on whether it's a direct 90-degree hit or an angled hit or whatever. It's sketchy as to whether your armor is going to do that, particularly if it's a ceramic plate or some sort of composite plate. You just don't know whether you really have any protection around this edge. And yet, this right here, this is a penetrator. This is where one of the M855 rounds hit, the green tips. And that is roughly an inch in, a little bit more than an inch where it hit, and it stopped it. without any problem. So I was very impressed by that. The edge armor, unless that's just lucky, which I doubt, the edge was very strong on this plate. So if you ask me, I should probably preface this by saying I'm not getting paid by RTS Tactical. They don't pay me any money. I don't have any financial relationship with them at all. I'm just giving you my honest point of view. If you were to ask me, would I purchase that plate? Would I buy one of these plates for myself from them? The answer is yes, because I took it to the range and I pounded on it with a bunch of rifles. And honestly, it did really, really well. I was very impressed, and we had some guys, I had some guys standing around, a couple of them are veterans, combat veterans, and they were pretty impressed with it too. So that spoke volumes to me as well. So in any case, you can check them out. It's RTS Tactical. I'll put a link in the description. If it's YouTube, I'll put it in the first comment and pin it to the top because they're funny about links and like that. And again, like I said, I don't make any money from them. I don't make my living on YouTube. This is just my honest assessment of the armor as a civilian, not as a veteran, just as a guy who might want to have armor because of civil unrest and that kind of stuff. That plate, yeah, I would buy that. These carriers are made really, really well, so I'm very impressed. Check them out. RTS Tactical, link in the description, or the first comment pinned to the top in the case of YouTube. Well, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. In case I don't get a chance to wish you happy Thanksgiving before then, I should, but in case I don't. And thank you very much for all of your support. Wherever you go, whatever you do, stay safe.